Professor S. M. D. Gauss worked as Senior Professor and Head of Physics Department at New College, Chennai. Before joining New College, he worked at C. Abdul Hakim College, Melvisharam in Vellore district as Physics teaching faculty. He served 36 years as Physics faculty for UG and PG. After retirement, he worked for 4 years as Head of Physics Department in SRM institutions. He also served as teaching faculty of Physics for 1 year at Saudi Arabia. His areas of interest are thermal physics and electricity. He studied BSc Physics from New College, post-graduation in Annamalai University and completed his MPhil at Presidency College, Chennai. He has presented and published 4 papers in crystal growth in national journals.
Welcome to UGC series of lectures in physics, dynamics part 10. In this lecture, we are going to discuss parallel axis theorem of moment of inertia, perpendicular axis theorem of moment of inertia, moment of a force, angular momentum of a particle, angular momentum of a rigid body, law of conservation of angular momentum, relation between torque and angular momentum. Parallel axis theorem of moment of inertia. The moment of inertia of a body about any axis is equal to the sum of its moment of inertia about a parallel axis through the center of gravity and the product of the mass of the body and the square of the distance between the two axes. Now, I am going to explain this on the basis of diagram. Now, let me take a body whose center of gravity is G, then x dash is a line passing through the center of gravity. X dash is the line passing through the center of gravity. Now, x1 dash is the line passing through the point O. Now, join OJ. Here the body is divided into so many number of particles of mass m. Let me take a point P which is at a distance r from O. Now, the point P which is having a mass m is at a distance r from the point O. As I told you, x1 dash is the axis passing through O. Now, here the moment of inertia of the particle P from O, that is moment of inertia of particle P from the axis x1 dash, that should be equal to m r squared. Then the total moment of inertia of the entire body from O, that is equal to moment of inertia, total moment of inertia, that is equal to sigma m r squared, that is I O, where I O is the moment of inertia of the body from O. I O is equal to sigma m r squared. This is equation 1. From the point P, let me draw a line A. So, this line A, PA, just join these lines, join this line. Now, the extended line from OG to OG is joined to A. Now, you join P to G, PG, etc. This distance is y. This distance is y. Now, the distance between the two axes, this axis is equal to x. the distance between G and A is equal to H. If you take this OPA in the triangle, OPA is equal to OP square is equal to OA square plus AP square. You know very well OP square is equal to R square, that is equal to OA square is equal to X plus S plus H square, because this OG is equal to XA, GA is equal to HA, so that is S plus H square plus AP square. Now expand this, R square is equal to X square plus 2XH plus H square plus AP square. This is equation 2. Now take the triangle GPA. The triangle TPA, GP squared, that is GP squared is equal to GA squared plus AP squared, GA squared plus AP squared plus AP squared. We know GP squared is equal to Y squared, that is equal to GA squared is equal to H squared plus AP squared plus AP squared. Substituting the equation 3 into the equation 3 in 2, we are getting R squared is equal to X squared plus 2XHA, R squared is equal to X squared plus 2X squared plus Y squared. So this is equation 4. So R squared is equal to X squared plus 2XHA plus H squared plus AP squared. Already we have found from the equation, that is in the triangle GPA, we have found out Y squared is equal to H squared plus AP squared. I am putting Y squared in this equation, H squared plus AP squared. So the new equation will become R squared is equal to X squared plus 2XHA plus Y squared. Now from the first equation, that is from the first equation, we will become I0. So I0 is equal to MR squared, that is sigma MR squared, that is sigma M, or instead of R we are putting X squared plus 2XHA plus Y square. So from I am substituting equation 1 in 4. So I am getting I0 is equal to sigma M X squared plus 2XHA plus Y squared. Now you expand it. When you expand it, I0 is equal to sigma M X squared plus sigma M 2X HA plus sigma M Y square. We know very well sigma M Y square, sigma M Y square is equal to Ij, where Ij is equal to Y square is equal to Ij, sigma M Y square is equal to Ig, where Ig is the moment of inertia about the axis G. I0 is equal to M, we are getting sigma M squared, sigma M Y squared plus 2, that is 2 MXH, that is sigma 2 MSH. Here I have already told you sigma M Y squared is equal to capital M Y squared, that is Ig. So now this will become Ij plus sigma mx squared plus 2 mxh. In this, you know, the sum of the turning moments of the all the turning points at the center of gravity is 0, because it is balanced at the center of gravity. That means, we are getting value m, that is sigma mh g is equal to 0, because g is a constant, So, sigma mh is equal to 0. Finally, we are getting IO, that is moment of inertia about the axis O is equal to Ig plus mx squared. That proves the law of parallel axis theorem of moment of inertia. IO, moment of inertia about axis O is equal to moment of inertia above the parallel axis through center of gravity plus the product of the mass and the square of the distance between the two parallel axes. Then let us talk about the perpendicular axis theorem. The moment of inertia of a plane laminar body about an axis perpendicular to the plane is equal to the sum of the moments of inertia about two mutually perpendicular axes in the plane of the lamina, such that the three mutually perpendicular axes have a common point of intersection. Now, I am going to prove this perpendicular axis theorem of moment of inertia by means of diagram. Let us consider a body having the axis OX and OY. OZ is perpendicular to the point of intersection of OX and OY. Here, let me take the particle P is at a distance r. Now, the coordinates of P are x y, that is r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. Now, the moment of inertia of the particle P is I z is equal to m r squared for the whole body. Now, similarly, moment of inertia of the particle about I y is equal to sigma m x squared. Similarly, moment of inertia of the body about I x is equal to sigma m y squared. Now, we know very well sigma m r squared is equal to sigma x squared plus y squared. So, sigma m x squared plus sigma m y squared, that is I z is equal to I y plus I z, that is moment of inertia of a plane lamina along the axis O z is equal to the sum of moment of inertia O x plus O y, that is the moment of inertia I z along O z is equal to the sum of moment of inertia along this and along this, that is I z is equal to I y plus I z. Now, I am going to discuss one problem along this chapter, that is moment of inertia and kinetic energy. A thin metal ring of diameter 0.6 meter and mass 1 kilogram starts from the rest and rolls down on an inclined plane. Its linear velocity on reaching the foot of the plane is 5 meters per second. Calculate the moment of inertia of the ring and the kinetic energy of the rotation at that instant. That is, diameter is 0.6, radius r is equal to 0.3. Then mass, that is mass 1 kilogram and the velocity is 5 meter per second. So, mass 1 kilogram, velocity 5 meter per second in this problem. Here you see the moment of inertia, this is a solid cylinder I think. So, for thin metal ring moment of inertia I is equal to mr square, that is m is 1, r is equal to 0.3 square, that is 0.09, that is moment of inertia I, moment of inertia is equal to 0.99. Now, what is the kinetic energy? They are asking you what is kinetic energy. Its linear velocity is given, v is equal to 5, calculate the moment of inertia of the ring. We have found out the moment of inertia is equal to 0.09 and the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is equal to half I omega square. We know v is given as 5. So, v is equal to r omega. So, omega angular rotation, omega is equal to v by r, that is 5 by 0.3. So, kinetic energy is equal to half into 0.09 into 5 by 0.3 whole square, that is 0.9, this is cancels. Finally, you are getting 12.5 kinetic J, this is the answer, that is the kinetic energy. Then the second problem, starting from rest, the flywheel of a motor attains an angular velocity 100 radians per second from rest in 10 seconds. Calculate 1 angular acceleration and 2 angular displacement in 10 seconds. Here starting from rest, that is omega is equal to 0, omega 0, that is angular velocity, again angular velocity 100 radians per second, t is 10. So, omega is equal to 100, omega 0 is equal to 0, t is equal to 10. So, they are asking you what is alpha, that is angular acceleration is what, and finally calculate angular acceleration and angular displacement, that is angular displacement 10 seconds they are asking you. So, angular displacement what is theta they are asking you. So, you know from the equations of rotational motion, W is equal to W 0 plus alpha t. Here alpha is asked. So, you know very well alpha t is equal to W minus W 0. So, the alpha is equal to W minus W 0 by t. Then W is equal to, that is omega is equal to 100. So, 100 minus 0 by alpha t, t is equal to 10. So, you are getting 10. Angular acceleration, is equal to 10. So, acceleration is 10 seconds meters per second square. Then second thing is what is angular displacement. Now, take the second equation. According to the second equation, theta is equal to, that is S is equal to u t, that is W 0 t plus u t plus half a t, that is half alpha t square. Here theta is asked, theta is equal to W, this whole thing will become 0 plus half, alpha is already found out 10, then t square, t is 10 seconds already given, 10 seconds. So, into 10 square. So, this will become, you are getting 5 into, that is 500 radians per second. This is the answer for this. Moment of force. The magnitude of the moment of force F about a point is defined as the product of the magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance of the point from the line of the action of the force. Now, normally when you are rotating a net with some wrench, you can turn it. Similarly, if you rotate a door, it can be rotated when it hinges. So, a force not only when it acts on a body, it moves in a straight line, but also it can rotate a body even if the point of intersection is not in the acting on the line of force or not parallel to it, it can rotate at any axis. In addition to that, this sort of turning of force is called moment of the force. Now, I can show you by means of diagram. Here, let a force is acting at the point P. Now, the moment of the force can be found out by this formula F product of the force into the perpendicular distance of the line of action of the force from O, that is OA. This is called moment of the force. This is called moment of the force M. Here force is acting at the point P, then the moment of the force about the point O is the product of the magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance of line of action of the force from the point O, that is M is equal to F into OA. If the force acting on a body rotates the body in anti-clockwise direction with respect to O, then the moment is called anti-clockwise movement. On the other hand, if the force rotates the body in clockwise direction, then the moment is said to be clockwise movement. As a matter of convention, anti-clockwise movement is taken as positive and clockwise movement is negative. While adding the movements, the direction of each movement should be taken into account in terms of vector product. The moment of the force is expressed as M is equal to product of vector R and F. Here R is position vector. In this lecture, we have discussed about parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem and moment of a force. Questions: state and prove parallel axis theorem of moment of inertia. Describe perpendicular axis theorem of moment of inertia. Explain moment of a force. With this, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much.